Good morning, guys. It's Wednesday, August 16th. So if this is the first time you're joining me or anybody else in the live stream, we do this, or at least I try to do this every single morning that I have the time, where we go over pre-market movers and potential continuation plays for the next day, just to give you guys an idea of some potential stocks that could be winners. And in no way, shape, or form am I, a licensed broker and an investment, agent or anything like that. This is just personally what I love to do, and this is where my passion's at, and I'll be trading for the rest of my life, basically. So, to go into it, looks like we have a lot of people in here already. So let's get started. First, I'm going to go over some continuation plays, and really, I only have picked out 4 stocks so far, just because there are so many different stocks to go over today. Personally, I feel that today is going to be a big day in the market where we're going to see a lot of potential movers. All right. Now, just jumping into the first 2 stocks that I have on continuation. One, I don't think a lot of you are going to know of, and the second, I know a lot of you guys are going to know of. And good morning to you guys as well. So the first one that I'm really interested in is TNDM. So let me say that again, TNDM. All right, and I know you guys can't see my screen, but if any of you guys are, using your trading platforms, and you're looking at this stock now, if you look at yesterday's trading, or even for the past, I would say 2 days, you will notice that it's starting to make some moves, okay? So TNDM yesterday made a really big move. It actually moved 30% yesterday, so it ended up going up 30%. And a lot of you know that have watched me before, watched any of my videos, I love continuation plays, and what I look for in a continuation play, and when I say continuation, I mean that you'll see a stock run up one day, whether it was yesterday or whatnot, you'll see it run up, and then come close to the closing bell, it doesn't sell off. It actually holds that high level, because that's something we see a lot of times, that traders don't like to hold a stock overnight. It's very risky, especially when we're dealing with lower price or lower cap stocks like penny stocks, okay? So a big thing you'll see is they sell off before the end of the bell. Well, when we don't see a big sell off and the stock ends up holding its highs, we tend to see those stocks run the next day. So TNDM was a stock yesterday that moved 30%, and it's now resting at about 70 cents, 75 cents. So it's holding that high price point level in which it had already reached yesterday. So what I'm going to personally look to do on this one is to get in probably above 78 cents, which was the high of day yesterday. Okay, so that would particularly be my entry point on this particular stock. And now the reason I think this one has potential is the fact that just yesterday, I believe, there was a recent news update on the stock, or a press release, in which the stock, I think they just got approved, or they're just starting to enroll production or a trial for a touchscreen insulin pump for diabetics or diabetes patients, okay? So this is some big news. It was released yesterday, and as you can see, the stock ended up going up 30%, so it makes sense as to why it was moving. So this is a stock where I'm looking to get in maybe above the previous high of day yesterday, because if it can break the high of day yesterday, that's telling us that there's enough traders watching it that want it to continue to go higher. So we're just going to see if we can continue this run from yesterday. That's what we say, continuation play, continue from the run yesterday. To give you more depth and a better understanding of TNDM, it has a float of 38 million. Now that is kind of high. It's not too high, but it is a little bit bigger than what I would like to see. Lower floats mean quicker price action, which means easier to profit on quick volatility. But it's not out of the game. It's not out of the play for me. So TNDM has a float of 38 million. Its short float is only 4%. A short float of only 4% is very low. That means there isn't a lot of people shorting the stock right now, which is a thumbs up for people who are trying to go long. Its relative volume's 5. If you're familiar with relative volume, that is pretty good. Its average volume is 462,000, about 500,000 shares of volume. Right now, it's trading at about 2.3 million shares of volume. So that tells us more traders are watching it. The volume's increasing. There's a bigger or better potential to see the stock run. Okay, and actually, it looks like it recently just gapped down to 70 cents. So that kind of irks me, but I'm still going to watch this stock to see if we can end up seeing a continuation. It might hold support right at the 70 cents, just because a lot of those whole cent marks tend to be mental supports and resistances. So the first one on watch would be TNDM. Now the next one I know all of you guys are going to know of is IDXG. Now IDXG, if we take a look at this guy, IDXG was one that we seen yesterday just absolutely kill it. I know a lot of people traded it yesterday and made some good money. So to anybody who traded it, awesome. I'm glad to hear it. Now, this thing ended up crushing it in after hours, and so far it's done pretty well in pre-market trading. There's a lot of volume and there's a lot of people trading it right now. But before we get into that, let's take a look at it a little bit more. So yesterday it went up 30% roughly. It's got a float of only 18 million. So 18 million, that's a pretty low float. We can definitely see this price move very quick or jump high. Okay, so 18 million share float, pretty low. Its short float is 12%, so we are getting a little higher on the short float interest. So this is one, if we do continue up, we could see a little bit of a squeeze. We could see some, some big movement from shorts covering their position, which will make the price jump a little bit faster for anybody who wants to go long on the stock. So the short float, 12%, relative volume is 8. Or did I say it? Yeah, relative volume is 8, so that's good. You have an average volume of 1.9 million. Right now it's trading at 15 million. So think about that. Its average volume is about 2 million. Right now it's currently trading at 15 million. So that alone is big, okay? You have a stock trading on much higher volume than it typically does, okay? So that is definitely something to keep an eye on and think about, all right? Now, it's only up, it reached about a high of about 10% pre-market, which is good. And if you look at it, there is a lot of price action going on in pre-market right now, okay? So it does make me a little nervous because we're getting this rally right now. We're not in one direction. We're not going up. We're not going down. We're really rallying right now. So there's a big fight between the bulls and the bears. But if you look closely, it is still uptrending. The bulls are technically winning because we have found support about 3 times right at the $1.15 area. If you're looking at just pre-market trading, you'll realize that the stock has tapped and came very close to 3 times on the $1.15, and then it's bounced, okay? And right now it's sitting at about $1.23. So for this, me as always, I like to get in on the break above pre-market highs. If I'm going to look for a continuation, I like to get on the break above pre-market highs. Okay, or maybe it was $1.17. I was a little off, but around the $1.15, $1.17 area, we have a nice support built. Okay, now for me, I like to get in on the break of pre-market high, which would be 128. Right now, we're only 5 cents off the high of pre-market, which isn't a lot. Okay, so we could definitely see this spike, get above 128. If the shorts end up covering their position because they're scared, we'll see a nice pop. And then that's when I would start locking in profits. Okay, so if I take a closer look at this on a 1-year day chart, just by the looks of a 1-year day chart, we've already broken over the 50-day moving average. So if we could get above 128, maybe our shorts will cover. They'll get a little scared. My first target would be the 150 area. I would look to see if we can get a move to $1.50 today. Right now, we are looking at IDXG. So to answer your question, Mr. Johnson, I can't show my screen as of right now. So until I can, this is the best we got to work with. I know a lot of you guys want me to show my screen, but in the future I will be able to do so. It just, YouTube doesn't allow me to share my screen until I have a certain number of subscribers to my channel. But once I get there, we will definitely be sharing the screen. All right, so IDXG, we've gone over the depth on it. It has a nice support built right around the 115, 117 area. So personally, I'm looking to see if we can get a move to 150 today. If you could get a move to 150, that would be huge. If this stock continues to go, your next real mental resistance point is going to be $2. So first mental resistance is 150. That would be my first target. Second resistance would be $2. At that point, the stock has already crushed it for the day. I would be completely happy locking in some profits, okay? So like I said, 150 would be my first mental go-to target price. And actually the next would be around 160, which is the 100-day moving average on a 1-year term chart. Now, there are the two stocks that I'm looking at pre-market. Those were just continuations. And yes, this was IDXG. So for pre-market, there were 2 stocks that I specifically was interested in playing. Oh, and I did forget to mention on IDXG, I'm sorry. They just had news out yesterday, and it looks like they got some news out this morning, but they have news out that they just got announced to a new target price of $5. So that's probably why we're seeing a lot of price action come into the stock right now, okay? They have a new price target of reaching $5 by Maxim Group, okay? Now, taking a look at DXTR, DXTR is one that was moving pre-market, and now that I hop back to it, this looked like it had potential earlier when I was analyzing it, but as of now, it doesn't look so hot. So if you were looking at DXTR this morning, on a 5-minute chart, it was setting up very nicely, but as we're getting closer to the opening bell, it did end up kind of cracking, and now we're just downtrending. So this isn't something that I'm very interested in anymore, just because it couldn't hold that high price point, and now we're selling off in pre-market. Now, it did have some news on it that it got a new price target of 80 cents. So maybe that's why there was some movement pre-market. That's probably why. But the stock is only about 28 cents right now. If it could reach 80 cents, that would be huge, just because, you know, at 30 cents a share, you're going to move up to 80 cents. That's a lot of money to be made on a stock at such a low price. So don't think that an 80 cents price target isn't a lot. It is a lot when you're comparing it to the price that we're at right now. Okay, this is the one we're talking about, is DXTR right now, guys. Okay, so DXTR, it looked good earlier. It no longer looks good, but I will go over it still. It has an 8 million share float, very low. You can see very quick price movement. Its short float is 46%. That is very high, but I still had it on watch, because if we could see this thing go up, a lot of shorts would get squeezed out of their position, and then we could see it pop. And right now, its average volume is 6 million, but the current volume is only 1.4 million. So there's a lot of, you know, trouble with the stock. The fact that its average volume is 6 million, but it's only trading on 1.4 million, that tells us that traders are not, you know, trading it like they used to be trading it. The actual volume is dropping, but with the news that it just had a new, you know, a price share target increase, that could bring back some traders. With the chart setup that it did have, we could have seen some traders coming into play. So personally, DXTR is gone today. I don't really like it. I wouldn't watch it. Now, the other one that I had pre-market was RADA. If you're watching or pay attention or have a pre-market scanner, you would know that RADA was a leading gapper in pre-market trading. And now there's a few things that I want to point out when it comes to news. So RADA had some very big news. And if you don't think this is big, I don't know what kind of news you think is big, but this is pretty damn big, okay? So if you look at about 7 o'clock and 7:50 this morning, they had some news come out on it. The first release of news was RADA receives first breakthrough and strategic $8 million order for the U.S. military. First off, whenever you hear millions of dollars in a press release, that is big. Secondly, whenever you hear U.S. military in a press release for a stock, that is big. That's like the same thing as hearing FDA approval or merger deal, kind of. Like, those are big terms to find in the headline press news release of any stock. So to see 8 million and to just see U.S. military, that right there is grabbing my attention. My eyes are now on this stock, okay? So there are two press releases this morning, 7 o'clock and 7:50 a.m. This is Eastern Standard Time, that they do have a good press release for an $8 million contract with the U.S. Army. So that is huge, okay? Taking a look at the chart, you will notice that it went from about $2.20 all the way to a high of $2.70, okay? It dropped back down, and it found a little bit of support right around the $2.50 area. I like that. It found support at $2.50. That is telling me that there's enough traders watching it that they're abiding by that mental rule of thumb, or, like, you know, you see $2.50, we have $2.50 as a mental support. It has held support there pretty strong, so that's just telling me we have enough traders in this stock that are respecting the mental support and resistance levels of stocks. To the gentleman who is this Shannon Monroe, I believe that's you. The news that I'm finding on RADA is within the Thinkorswim, TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform. That is where I'm getting my news right now. Another gentleman has said you can find on Yahoo's. What press are you looking at? So Shannon, again, the press release is on Thinkorswim, TD Ameritrade. You can probably find it on Yahoo Finance. They are really good as well. The gentleman in here just shouted that out as well. Okay, so taking a deeper look at RADA, because this is one that I really think has some great potential today based on the news. Okay, and if you're looking at the chart pattern in pre-market right now, we're actually performing very nicely. This is something I like to see. We gapped up, we came down, but now we're just consolidating sideways, and now we're starting. So we're consolidating sideways. We're starting to curl up. Okay, and if it's not tradable on RH, I apologize, but just some stocks aren't available to trade on Robinhood. But if you're looking at RADA right now, you'll notice that on the chart, it is starting to form, it's curling up is what it's doing. And if it can continue to curl up, we should see a nice break above the pre-market high and then continue to run. If you look at a 1 year, 1 day chart, you go into a longer time frame, this stock on its 1 year time frame has no previous resistance points, because the highest it's reached in a year is $2.35. It has now reached a high of $2.35 over the year. Right now, it just reached a high of $2.70 in pre-market trading. With that being said, this stock doesn't have any past resistance points we can now judge based on where a stock has made it and then dropped down. Now we're going to have to go off the mental resistance points, right? So the first real mental resistance point on this stock is probably going to be around $3, because we're sitting close to $2.50. The next big one would be about $3. So Marcus 333, I cannot share my screen. I will. When I reach 10,000 subscribers, I am sharing my screen. I would love to not have to do this, but this is really the most, the most efficient way that I can do a pre-market live stream for everybody right now. I will be able to share my screen after we hit 10,000 subscribers. So once we get there, we'll see. So more depth on RADA. It's got an 18 million share float. It had news this morning of a great deal. The short float interest is very low. It's only 0.60%, so it's only 0.6%. The average volume is 295,000. The current volume was only 134,000. Okay, so there's a big problem. The fact that its average volume is only about 295,000, and the fact that the current volume was only 134,000 is a bit scary. But I'm kind of pushing the volume factor to the side because we have such good news. We can definitely still see this run, okay? So keeping RADA on watch because it does have some good news. It's got a low float. The short float interest is not very high. Right now, it's holding that pre-market level of about 250 right at a mental support. So this is good. So to be honest, the two that I'm going to be most interested in watching that I've gone over are going to be TNDM and RADA. Those are going to be my two right now, is TNDM and RADA. Okay, guys. So personally for RADA, this is one that, if it's going to drop out of the gates, I feel we're going to find some support right at about the $2.50 area. And then we can see maybe a bounce. If not, what I'm really looking to see happen is it continue to slowly curl up as the opening bell comes. And if we get some green and we get some big buyers on the bid side, I want to see this price push and then break 270, and that would be perfect because now what we're kind of doing is curling up for a U-shaped breakout of the pre-market, okay? You know what? The gentleman who just said, look at WPR or WPRT, I did actually look at that this morning. So I will go over that because it was one that I was going to put on my watch. Right, WPRT. So this is one that I was going to put on my watch, okay? And this is a good shout out to the gentleman who just shouted that out. I don't even know if I can pronounce your name, but ABES909. That's a good shout out right there, my man. Your eyes are in the right spot, okay? I was looking at playing this today. This isn't something that I didn't see. It was one that I did see. Okay, so if we do go over this, this does meet my typical criteria where we see a stock going up, right? So we seen a stock yesterday. It moved up. It held its highs. In pre-market trading, it's still holding those highs. So that is all good news. Okay, I don't have a lot of information on it because I didn't, write down some of my notes, but just basically looking at the chart here, WPRT did move up. It doesn't have any really killer news. The most recent news was from 2 days ago on 8/14. It had an earnings call, looks like. Yep, so it had some earnings call results come out. That's probably why we're seeing that big price movement. But if you look at a 1-year day chart, you will see that WPRT has been curling up. Okay, so on a 1-year day chart, you'll see that WPRT is curling up right now, and it just had a nice kind of pop on a 1-year day chart. When I look at this, it does look good, because if you look on a 1-year day chart, the candle closed with absolutely no wick. Okay, the candle closed with absolutely no wick, and what that means is the price went up and it held that high without dropping down, so it is holding that high price point. But we haven't seen a red day on WPRT in 1, 2, 3. It's been 3 days since we've seen any red day. Doesn't mean that we can't have another green day, but this is one where I could expect to maybe see a pullback today before we continue running. So you may see a bounce play, or this may be the first kind of sideways consolidation or a little bit of a sell-off from all the moves that's been happening. But you know, it does look promising. I would say keep WPRT on watch too. And Christian Sanchez is shouting out TONTO. Have no clue what that means. Maybe it's from Toronto or something like that. But again, WPRT is one that I was looking at this morning for continuation. I don't have any news on you for its short float or its actual float. But if I do pop that up for you, I can go over that real quick. So WPRT. All right, so looking at WPRT a little closer, it has a float of 82 million. That is a very, very big float. This is not going to be something where we see penny stocks just fly. This will be a slow runner, probably. Its short float's only 5%, so that means its short float's not very high. Its relative volume is 3.19, which is good. That is very good. And its average volume is about 920,000 shares of volume, which is good. So WPRT altogether, it is very promising. I would keep it on watch. So for what I've gone over today, I would say the best 2 stocks or 3 stocks so far that I've gone over that I've had the time to analyze would be TNDM, a break of like 76 cents or wherever that rests. Then which one was the other one? RADA, just because of the news that it had on it. Hopefully it can continue to hold those highs and we'll get that U-shaped breakout from the pre-market high. That would be fantastic. And then WPRT just for continuation, okay? I definitely feel like we have some good stocks on watch, and I hope that one of these is a winner. Just like the other day, we shouted out FRTA. That ended up being a nice winner for the day. And for any of you guys swing trading, AMD looks pretty good right now. I'm not going to go too much into it. I don't want to force anybody into looking at a stock, but AMD also looks very promising. You know, we talked about it in the live stream just the other day. It looked like it had finally found where it's going to bounce, and sure enough, it bounced pretty hard. Okay, so we're going to end it there for today. I know you guys are shouting out a lot of these. Can we get the link to the Discord chat? Okay, and that's lastly what I was going to recap on. So the last video I did, live stream, I had to take off very quick. So once I get done with this video, I'm going to post all the links to all the chat rooms that I'm involved with. So A, the most important one is TechBud Solutions. Then B, we have our own Discord chat group, which is called the Boiler Room, where we have really good traders involved in there. There's a member in there, Blunt Roller, Matrix, Juan Perez. There's a bunch of members in there that we've kind of all grown together. So long story short, I'll have in the description below once I get this video uploaded, so you can come back to it later, but I'll have all the descriptions or links to all the group chats that I'm in, my Facebook, the TechBud Solutions group on Facebook, so you'll have access to all of those. And I'm also going to put a link to, if you're not involved with Robinhood yet, I'm going to put a link to basically get you and me a free share of stock. They're running that promotion right now, so why not? I'm going to put the link to that, so if you haven't already signed up for Robinhood, you can go ahead and use that link and get yourself a free share of stock, along with me a free share of stock for referring you. If you do that, that would be freaking awesome. I'd really appreciate it. So I'll have all the links and everything down below, and we'll be doing this every single day. And you guys can always message me and shout out some stocks within the chat that you want me to take a look at. And maybe what we'll do is we'll start doing the live stream a little bit earlier for you guys. That way, if you guys have any suggestions you guys want me to take a look at, I can do that before the market opens. I don't like running the live stream right until the opening bell because I want everybody to get their orders ready to go and get their mindset ready to go for the day. All right, so we're going to end it there, and I appreciate everybody for joining in. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and I will keep you guys updated. All right, have a good day.